welcome back to another video. Today I have something that I really wanted to make for such a long time, but I knew it would be such a beefy video and such a long process to make that I just held it off for another day. But today is that day because we're talking about Dragon Ball, which is my favorite action comedy, and it's always surprised me when this doesn't get as much love as it should. Everybody overlooks this for its successor, Dragon Ball Z. In fact, that's been remastered and reiterated on DVD and Blu Ray so many times by now. But Dragon Ball just always gets overlooked, and I just don't understand how so many die-hard DBZ fans are out there that have never seen the original. How does that work? So today I just wanted to share something with you that has been so special to me already, even though I've only seen this 3 years ago. And don't get me wrong, this is not going to be any sort of nostalgia-driven review. You know I'm not about that, but there are 3 rules that I'd like to get into before I start this review. One is that this review will only cover the first 153 episodes of Dragon Ball, none of Z. 2, this will contain spoilers. And 3, I will not be cherry-picking out any of the non-canon episodes. Dragon Ball is a light-hearted action comedy fantasy adventure released in 1986, loosely based off of the 16th century Chinese novel, A Journey to the West, and I mean very loosely. This story follows Goku, an 11-year-old boy unlike any other. For 1, he has a monkey tail, 2, he has superhuman strength, and 3, he lives a secluded life in the middle of the forest, where he's never even seen a woman.
So you're a girl, aren't you?
What a randy boy.
Goku's journey begins as he's introduced to Bulma, a spoiled teenage girl on the hunt for the 7 mysterious Dragon Balls, which are said to grant a single wish whenever they're all found.
You let me have your Dragon Ball, and I'll let you have a little peek.
What do I care about seeing your dirty old fanny?
It is not dirty, you rude little boy!
Young Goku's saga is divided into 5 separate arcs, first of which being the Pilaf saga, where Goku tries to stop this villainous runt from using the Dragon Balls to rule the world. Dragon Ball really appeals to a lot of the older audience, I think, because it combines the innocence that we find within kids' 80s cartoons and mixes it with a bit of mature humor. So anybody who really watches this, if you're a bit older like myself, you're going to be reminded of plenty of the cartoons you saw growing up, but it's taken that innocence and elevated it to a level suitable for adults, and I really think that this is something that is suitable for all ages. Well, maybe not so much the first arc, because we've all went back and watched some of our favorite cartoons that we watched growing up and saw some, inappropriate jokes that have been made, but we never really picked up on it at the time due to the limitations of our sheltered mind. Within this first arc of Dragon Ball, the adult humor is not only vocalized but visualized as well, because it doesn't take an adult mind to understand what's happening when Bulma flashes her pussy at Master Roshi.
There, done, that's it.
Oh, my eyes. I think I'm blind. I'm gonna faint.
It serves you right.
So yeah, it's probably not for kids. But speaking of Bulma, she has the perfect personality to offset Goku's humble nature. Goku is generally a thoughtful and caring person who lives in the woods. He does everything by himself, for himself. He hunts and also has a close relationship with nature, as we see him being friendly with some of the wild animals near his house. However, there is one major similarity between the characters of Goku and Bulma, is that Goku is not afraid to whip his dick out. Can I say that? But seriously though, Bulma on the other hand is very hot-tempered and selfish. She's become spoiled by both technology and money, as her father is the CEO of the Capsule Corp, which is a company that makes these tiny little capsules which contain numerous handy devices such as motorcycles, airplanes, and even houses. As Goku and Bulma set off to find the remainder of the Dragon Balls, the differences between the personalities are hilariously displayed, from the time that Goku tries to attack her car because he thinks that it's some sort of monster that has her inside, or to the time when she was disgusted by Goku suggesting just to eat a bunch of bugs for dinner. And also there's the time when
Fix your balls, Bulma! They're gone!
What? You're kidding me! How?
I don't know.
No! Phew. Thank goodness. They're all here, Goku.
Yeah, that one's actually my favorite. This hilarious, lovable cast of characters doesn't end here, as we have our lecherous old coot Master Roshi, a 400-year-old martial arts master.
Are you okay, Master? You must have done something naughty.
Be quiet.
There's Oolong, the panty-obsessed pig, and his much more innocent rival Puar, the cat, who are both anthropomorphic animals who practice the art of shape-shifting. I really love the scene where Puar transformed into Goku and Oolong transformed into Bulma, but no one seemed to notice despite how hideous they looked. And of course I couldn't forget Yamcha. I mean, who am I, Akira Toriyama? At least he didn't get the launch treatment where he forgot about her halfway through the story. Yamcha, at least, Toriyama remembered his name and his appearance, but forgetting about trivial things such as his personality, you know. But actually in the beginning of Z, he was quite the useful character, as he was this desert bandit that was afraid of women. He was actually a really funny guy, and he even stood toe-to-toe with 11-year-old Goku, which is quite a task. One of the greatest parts of Dragon Ball is how even the villains are hilarious, even they're lovable characters, like with Pilaf, for example. He's this type of bratty runt that would fart and then blame it on his henchmen, and then torture him until he admits to doing it, and also apologizes for it.
Please let me go, sire. I didn't do anything.
Are you saying that I would be capable of such a gross emission?
Oh, no, please,
I'll
sire.
not tolerate this kind of outburst from one of my agents.
One important detail which Dragon Ball nails is how Pilaf, as well as many other villains in the greater parts of Dragon Ball, are so incompetent that they either unintentionally cause their own demise or are defeated by someone else who isn't Goku. This allows Goku to demonstrate his skills on some of the minor villains, while downright losing several times to many of the greater antagonists within each arc. This properly establishes conflict while also adding to the humor at the same time. It's here that Goku becomes acquainted with his future wife Chi-Chi, who is the daughter of the menacing yet surprisingly kind-hearted Ox King, whose castle is surrounded by flames, and of course there just so happens to be a single Dragon Ball inside that castle. Of course, Bulma gets Roshi to blow out these fires with his specialty move, the Kamehameha. It's here, in this moment of comedy, which is exactly what it was for, that Goku attempts this skill, which took Master Roshi 50 years to master, and he manages to pull it off somehow. The Kamehameha unknowingly changes the history of Dragon Ball. While the first 13 episodes of Dragon Ball all boil down to Goku and Pilaf going back and forth trying to collect all of the Dragon Balls, the star of the show is the character interactions. They are what made it so popular that it continued past its original ending point several times. You may not be aware of this, but the events of episode 13 or chapter 23 were originally intended to be the ending of the show, but due to popularity and probably truckloads of money, Toriyama decided to continue several times. And you can actually see this as well within Dragon Ball and within Dragon Ball Z. Many other people note this without actually knowing the reason why. But every time we get to an end of a saga in Dragon Ball, it has this conclusive ending where it should have ended. And the show pretty much is the equivalent of that guy on the phone. You hear him and he's like, well, all right, but they're not letting him hang up. And that's essentially the relationship between Toriyama and Shonen Jump. Toriyama's the guy like, well, all right, let's wrap it up now. And then we have Super. What really makes this so sad is that when you look 100 episodes into the future of Dragon Ball, the most superficial elements manage to flourish, while the most significant, the character interactions, are what's pushed into the backseat and kicked out the side of the door like a drunk passenger on New Year's. Looking at the Pilaf saga, we had action, we had martial arts, but they were only presented as cartoon violence in order to convey comedy. The Dragon Balls themselves were nothing more than a MacGuffin to get the characters in the same room with each other to interact with each other, and even the wish that was used at the end of the 13 episodes was just comedy. That's really all that it was about, as Oolong runs out and wishes for a pair of panties. It didn't matter that the dragon could give you anything. In fact, that's what made it even more hysterical, that this unlimited wish was used on a pair of panties.
I want to have the
world's most comfortable pair of ultra soft.
Again, that was just comedy, even with the ending of the 13th episode where Goku transforms into this Great Ape mode and just starts wrecking everything. That was just added to have this big payoff. It was never really meant to be anything more serious than that. Even if you look at the concept art for Goku, what he was originally supposed to look like, he was actually much closer to a monkey, so I guess they decided to make that alteration, make him a bit more human, but then again, have him transform into this giant ape at the end. If we take a sneak peek into Baba's crystal ball and view the events of Dragon Ball Z, we see the show has lost all of its roots, as it's mostly about the fights and the Dragon Ball wishes later on. This is why my favorite episode of Dragon Ball Z is the driver's license episode, which is total filler. This is the prime example of a show which has lost its way. Now, that's not to say that the Pilaf saga is without its flaws either, because my biggest complaint is episode 9, where Goku fights against this bunny gang, and it was actually pretty funny at first, where Bulma was going around, and for some reason she had on these bunny ears. She could have just took them off. I mean, it's not like she's against displaying parts of her body to people, but everyone was giving her things for free. This episode in itself really took you away from the fantasy adventure setting that they worked so hard to build up for us, as Goku is in this semi-realistic setting. Even though I know they had the giant mushrooms in the background, it was still Goku at a gas station refueling his car when a gang comes up and starts shooting at him with very realistic looking weapons. I mean, when you consider the atmosphere here, this really does take you away. And then the villain of this episode, the bunny, who transforms everyone who he touches into carrots. And I thought this was pretty ironic here, that Goku actually hates carrots so much that he had to exclaim his distaste for them, but yet when he finds out that his name is Carrot, he doesn't say a word.
I don't like carrots.
Nonetheless, I give the first arc of Dragon Ball a 9.5 out of 10. As this arc comes to a close and they find a great stopping point for the series, Bulma gets her wish of having a boyfriend, which just so happened to be Yamcha all along, and Goku goes off on another adventure by himself to find his grandfather's keepsake, the 4-star ball. The moral of this story stresses the importance of hard work and an honest life. You can't just wish for everything you want, but if you work hard, things have a way of working themselves out. These morals continue to present themselves in the next arc surrounding the World Martial Arts Tournament, covered in part 2 of my Dragon Ball review, so stay tuned and thanks for watching.